Hi, today we're going to take a look at this very unusual item. I bought that thing for two reasons. First, the price was not excessive, approximately £26. And secondly, there are some indications on the front here. First, we can see two quality stamps. And secondly, we have here the catch code of the supplier, S3515, which is actually SAB AB. So this thing can be interesting. On that side, there is the sub D15 connector. On the other side, there is a shaft with a pinion. Well, this is obviously a motor. And there is here locating stuff for an accurate positioning of that thing. So first, let's see what is inside. We have here probably a military assembly. Oh, very nice. Look at that, we have a CPU board. We have a famous ATC31 from Intel. And we have an EEPROM, 8 kilobytes. And we have a crystal of 3.6884 MHz. And here there is another PCB. On that board there are two relays, a big one and a smaller one, a few passive parts, and we have here two drivers for an RS422 interface. And we have here 4 jumpers for the configuration of something. Oh, very nice. We have some serious capacitors here. One regulator, LM117K, others capacitors. We can see here the complete assembly. It is not easy to work with such a thing. The technology is rigid flex PCB. So we have two main PCBs here. This one is for the communication interface. And we have here something obscure, which seems to be obviously the power supply, but not only. So we can see these capacitors with a working voltage of 400 volts. There are 4 of them. And we have here a power supply transformer, probably. And a smaller one. This is maybe a coil, I'm not sure. So we can see the connection here to the motor. There is another relay. On that board there is an ADC 0808. So there are two quad comparators, a classic 139, and here in the middle there is an LS05. So this is maybe an X inverters, maybe with open collector, I don't remember, and a few passive parts. I don't know exactly what is measured by this ADC. We can see something complicated here, is that this EEPROM is soldered to the PCB. It is not socketed. First, I will desolder this EEPROM. I will do a dump and I will disassemble the code. It will give me an idea, but I will do also the reverse engineering of this board, of these boards. I am going to desolder the EEPROM. The first thing to do is to remove the conformal coating. I use this product from MG Chemicals, reference 8310A. This is a conformal coating stripper. It was not easy at all, but I succeeded to desolder this EEPROM. We can see here the dump of the EEPROM. Approximately 50% is used, that is to say 4 kilobytes. It seems that we have a table on that area. It's a kind of function which is more or less linear. There isn't any string on the code. This is the AC motor. This one was manufactured by K. Artius, France. There are two windings. A phase shift of 90 degrees is required. This phase shift is created using a capacitor. The capacitance is 6 microfarads. It is created by these 4 capacitors in parallel. The motor is activated by this relay, and there is a snubber in parallel to the contact. The snubber is made by this capacitor here, and this resistor in series 68 ohms. We can see on this schematic the motor here. The relay is here. There is another relay which permits to activate this unit. It is this one here. Here we have the power supply transformer. There is a coil here, which is this one. The on-off relay here is activated using 2 pins of the sub-D connector. The motor is activated by the microprocessor. It uses this Darlington here. This resistor is useless. This one as well. The collector of the second transistor is connected to the second sub-D connector, the 9 pins one, and there is also a measurement of the voltage present on the collector of this transistor. There is a voltage divider here. The range is approximately 0 to 46 volts, and this attenuated voltage is fed to input number 3 of the ADC here. There is here a differential line receiver, a classic 26LS32. The output is connected to the UART input of the microprocessor, and there is also a driver which is connected to the transmit output of the UART. The driver can be activated using this line. We can see that the input here is connected also to an interrupt. This permits to have a timeout for the reception. There is another input here corresponding to this relay, which is this small relay here. When this relay is activated, there is a low level on that line, which is connected to the second interrupt here, external interrupt number 1 of the microprocessor. Otherwise, we have also 4 lines connected to the ADC. In green here, we have the pin 1 of the sub-D9 connector, which was connected to the stiffener of this flat flex. We can think that these 3 lines are others analog inputs. Actually, it is not the case. If we look on the code, these 3 lines are used as a digital input. Actually, these 3 lines correspond to 3 bits of a status register, which can be read by the communication interface. The first input is not used, it is connected to ground. So input number 2 here is connected to VCC, which is actually the reference voltage. It is not used. And there is another input here, input number 1, which is connected to this voltage reference of 1.24 volts. It is used for the self-test. This permits to test the ADC here. At the end, we have only 2 analog inputs. This line here, which is connected to the sub-D9 connector, and this second input, which is connected to pin 5 here of the sub-D connector. This line permits to measure the voltage which is present on that line when this transistor is off. I don't know what is connected on that line, but obviously there is a load between the collector and a power supply, probably 28 volts. Here we have the monitoring of the plus 5 volts power supply voltage. There are 2 limits here, and the output permits to activate the reset if the voltage is outside these 2 limits here. And there is also a circuit for the watchdog. We have here a negative going pulse, which is activated in the main loop of the firmware. And this permits to keep the voltage across this capacitor below a given value. We can see here the initialization routine. The baud rate is set to 9600 volts. This function reads the 3 analog inputs in order to set the status. So let's have a look at this function. There is a function I called ADC read, which permits to read the value of the ADC. This data must be initialized with the channel to be read. In that case, we have the channels 4, 5, and 6. We can see that there is a mask in order to keep only the MSB bit 7. The swap permits to exchange bit 7 with bit 3, and there is a rotation to the right. And this permits to set the bit 3 of the status. There is an AND here with 7. It is useless because here we have only 1 bit anyway. It is impossible to have other bits here. So this is a useless instruction. And the status is updated here. There is more or less the same thing for the channel 5. There is a mask in order to keep only bit 7. And here there are 2 rotations to the left. The first rotation permits to change bit 7 to bit 0, and another rotation to the left get access to bit 1, and bit 1 of the status is updated. Next one is channel 6. There is 1 rotation to the left. This permits to update bit 0 of the status. There is another useless instruction here. The threshold is approximately 2.5 volts.